They used to talk about everything. What they wanted to build, where they wanted to go, even what scared them. The future felt like this open road, and they were driving it together, mapping it out with late-night conversations and shared dreams. But somewhere between the unpaid bills and the unspoken disappointments, the conversation started to get shorter, heavier. The easy flow was gone, replaced by a strained silence that seemed to do all the talking. When real problems crept into their relationship, Alex didn't know how to face them. Every potential discussion felt like a fight just waiting to happen, a landmine of blame and hurt. So, instead of sitting down with Jordan to talk it through, Alex chose the numbness of alcohol. At first, it was just one drink to take the edge off after a tense day, but one drink soon turned into many. Weekends started to disappear into a hazy blur of late nights and foggy mornings. Before long, drugs joined the picture, anything to quiet the relentless thoughts that screamed, "You're failing. This is broken. You've ruined it." Jordan noticed the distance long before the addiction became obvious. It was in the little things. The empty stare when Jordan was talking, the missed promises that piled up, the way Alex would always choose to escape rather than explain what was wrong. Jordan tried to reach out, to find a way back to the person they loved, but the walls built from bottles and pills are incredibly hard to climb. It felt like shouting into a void. The truth, when it finally surfaced, was simple but incredibly painful. Alcohol and drugs never fixed the problems. They only buried them deeper. The issues were still there in the morning, heavier and louder than before, now joined by new companions, mistrust and a deep gnawing hurt. The escape was just alone, and the interest was compounding daily. One night, after a silence that felt endless and suffocating, Jordan spoke, their voice barely a whisper. "I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be here." There was no yelling, no accusations, just raw, unfiltered honesty. And in that quiet moment, something shifted. It was like a tiny crack of light in a very dark room. Starting to talk again wasn't easy. It was awkward and painful. It took time, immense patience, and a lot of uncomfortable truths laid bare on the table. They stumbled, they backtracked, but they kept trying. Eventually, they realized they needed a guide, so they invited a family therapist into the conversation, someone who could help translate the pain into understanding, the anger into empathy. The therapist didn't take sides. They didn't point fingers. Instead, they helped build a bridge right where their communication had collapsed. They provided tools to rebuild what had been broken. Healing didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, deliberate process, one day at a time. But slowly, real conversations began to replace the desperate escapes. Listening started to replace avoidance. And trust, which had been so badly cracked, began to carefully, painstakingly mend. Together, they learned something incredibly important. Problems don't disappear when you run from them. Substances like alcohol and drugs only delay the pain. They never resolve it. Real, lasting change begins when you make the brave choice to talk, to truly listen, and when you need to ask for help. Because facing your problems together is hard, there's no doubt about it. But facing them alone, or numbed out and disconnected, is infinitely harder. If you or someone you know is struggling, please remember that reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. There are resources available, and you don't have to walk this path by yourself. Thanks for listening.